I'm going to show you how to use Backup Buddy to restore some files that might be misbehaving on your site. So let's say you ran updates and you notice that there's a problem with one of your plugins. You can use a backup that you ran in order to restore those specific files. I ran this backup 3 days ago, and I know that things were working just fine then. So I'm going to click Browse and Restore Files in order to track down the specific file that I want to restore. I know that the file is within the WP content folder. Just a little advice, WP content is typically where your files are going to be that you're going to want to impact. WP admin and WP includes have to do with the core WordPress functionality. WP content has things like plugins and themes and your media files. So this is typically where you're going to hang out. So I'm going to expand the plugins and I'm going to go to Broken Link Checker. And let's say it was this file, so brokenlinkchecker.php, and this is the one I want to restore. By checking this and running through the process, Backup Buddy is going to replace this PHP file with the one that was backed up 3 days ago. So I have to be okay with that. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom and click Restore Selected. It's going to give me a warning and I'm going to say I'm okay. And just like that, I didn't do any video editing here. It literally took 0.21 seconds for the file to be restored. I do want to show you something that involves a little bit more effort. So I'm going to go back to the backup to refresh everything. Let's say I wanted to restore an entire plugin. I wasn't sure of what file was specifically broken. So I'm going to go back to that plugins folder and I'm going to check the entire folder. Now, if I click Restore Selected, I'm going to get that same warning, but then I'm going to get an error. So it says the destination being restored already exists and is not empty. So for whatever reason, Backup Buddy doesn't want to overwrite files. They want to kind of make sure that you intend to restore the files that you selected. So what you would have to do in this situation is you would have to delete the file folder, right? So the files within the folder or the folder completely that you're trying to restore. You can use FTP to do this, or you can use File Manager through your hosting company. I'll include a link on how to use FTP, but all you would do is delete the contents of that folder, then run through the Backup Buddy restore option. And so you saw how quickly it worked for just one file. The same would be true for a folder of files. It would just take a little bit more time depending on how many files it's restoring. But that's it. That's all there is to using Backup Buddy to restore files or folders or any sort of content that you need to, whether it's from an update gone wrong or noticing something just isn't quite right and wanting to go back to an older version. I'm going to show you how to use the free backup plugin BackWP to restore a file or plugin files or anything that you might need to restore should something go wrong, or let's say a theme file was accidentally deleted. Speaking from experience, that does happen. So anytime that you have a backup of the site from before the error or the plugin stopped working or the file was deleted, you can use that to make things right as rain. So I made this backup before the issue happened. I downloaded it, and then once I open that download, I have a bunch of WordPress files. But what I want is within the WP content folder, and then within themes, and I know that the theme name that I'm looking for is this one. And so I have the file in here that I want. This is very similar to the Backup Buddy solution, except you have to kind of do the work yourself. So you have to track down the file and you have to upload it yourself. The easiest way to do that is with FileZilla or FTP. So I'm going to navigate over there, and I'm going to head to the place within the site where the file lives. I also have the desktop folder or the download of the backup open over here, so I'm going to navigate to the theme on that side as well. And let's say that it was the style sheet that got deleted on accident, or maybe it got edited in the editor and something just went wrong, you know, something got deleted on accident. It's easy enough to take care of. So again, I'm navigating to the theme, and the file is here. In the case where maybe some part of it got deleted, you would still see the file, or if the file was completely deleted, it would look like that. So all I'm going to do is upload the style.css file from the backup that I had downloaded. Once it's done uploading, all is right. If the file was already in here, so let's say the header, a couple lines of code got deleted, but I wasn't sure what they were. So what I could do is head over here to the backup, hit upload, and then FileZilla is going to ask me, are you sure you want to upload this? Because we're going to overwrite what exists in the folder. And I'm okay with that because I know that the backup version is right and doesn't have any missing code. So I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to come over to the live site, refresh it, and it looks great. All of the styles are there. Everything's working the way that it should. The header is loading just fine. I'm going to walk you through using Flywheel's backup system to restore a site to a point in which you needed it. Flywheel is a hosting company that provides its own backup solution and actually backs up sites every single night for its clients. And that's one of many reasons that at Tiny Blue Orange we use Flywheel for our clients. If you have questions about hosting, hit us up. We love to talk about this nerdy stuff. But we're going to dig into using this backup solution if you're already on Flywheel or already with Tiny Blue Orange. Like I mentioned, they run backups automatically for all of their clients, but you can run your own. So I ran this pre-updates backup by simply clicking the create a new backup, and it ran behind the scenes. I'm going to use the learntolovewordpress.com site as an example today. It has not been hacked, so I can't stress that enough, but I'm using it as an example of should something have gone terribly wrong with your site, it got hacked, there's malware, there's a virus, and you need to go back to a version where it wasn't hacked, we're going to utilize Flywheel and their backup system to remedy that situation. So all that looks like is going into the Backups tab of your Flywheel dashboard and picking the date that you want to go back to. Again, I ran this backup before running updates. That is something I could go back to. Or let's say you know that your site was hacked yesterday, so you want to go back 2 days to make sure that you get rid of all of that stuff. That is really up to you and your situation. I'm just going to go back to this latest backup. So you have the option to download or restore, and what we want to do is restore. So we're going to go back to this version. I just want to show you something really quick. The nice thing about Flywheel is that they show you with these little arrows when things change. So you'll see that the page number dropped here, or you'll see that page number increased here. So that way you know if you're going to be losing some changes or some content, especially in the case of being hacked, it might be worth grabbing those blog posts or those pages, pasting the content into a Word doc so you can recreate it on your site once you've got it cleaned up. So I'm going to hover over the backup I want to use, and I'm going to click restore. Yes, I'm sure I want to do this. I don't need to do the backup. I'm going to grab my password, and I'm going to restore the backup. And that's it. It's literally all there is to it. Behind the scenes, Flywheel is doing its thing. It's going to let you know when it's done, but likely it'll be done by the time I'm done talking. So this solution is so awesome. It restores the entire site to what that backup was. If you wanted to restore specific files, that's where the download option comes in handy. Since it's restoring, I can't download anything, but remember when I hovered over it, it had the option to download or restore. See, already done. You could download and seek out those specific files that you wanted to restore instead of doing the entire thing. And I'm just going to refresh the site, it's working great. And you'll notice that it logged me out because it was restored, which is great. If this were an actual site hacking and you wanted to get it cleaned up, this backup restore is a great option to get rid of any malware or any viruses. But I can't stress enough that once you restore it, change your passwords. So I'll include a link for how to do that, but likely that's how the hackers got into your site, so you want to avoid that happening again. Otherwise, that's all there is to it.